Three Guys, One Bullet, aka 3G1B, is a no-shill, low-frills podcast. Ideas and support come from viewers like you. So please, help us be better by leaving suggestions, subscribing, as well as a few comments your kids will be embarrassed you said to a grown man. Thanks, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Couch Boys. How are y'all doing today?
Good.
Wonderful.
Anything new you want to share with everybody?
I'm doing a 7.62 by 39 side charging AR build.
You are. Well, that's really good because I can't talk right now because my mouth is full of meat.
That it is.
All the time. One of the topics I wanted to get into today, because I was talking with one of my guy at work, Victor, and he often asks me questions as far as because he's super new into guns and he doesn't really know anything about nothing. And I tell him there's no dumb question, you just ask, because you can't be a gatekeeper when it comes to stuff like this. You gotta just come out with the information.
Right.
And I'd rather somebody ask a dumb question and get the response from somebody that at least knows something than try to go on the internet and who the hell knows what you're going to get when you come with that. You probably
Snipertide or AR-15.com.
well, you'll probably get made fun of for asking a simple question more than likely.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so fucking bullshit.
Or maybe you want to know if a 17 HMR will punch through your steel-toe boot and you lose a toe when you could have just asked somebody.
Or that kid with the 50 AE and the phone book.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, he wanted to get YouTube famous. He won.
He got ventilated?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That was a big story a couple years ago. He got YouTube famous for all the wrong reasons. 50 AE phone book, which was so dumb because everybody was said you just had to literally look at any video and it would go through 5 phone books. But
I feel like, me personally, I would probably put the phone book on a table and shoot it. And if it came out the other side, hey,
that's a weird situation. If you want to dive into the minutia of that particular encounter, he might have been suicidal and the girlfriend that did it,
She shot him? Oh, and that's...
But she didn't know what she was doing. She just he just said, "Here, babe, hold this, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun for YouTube."
Oh, so he held it.
Yes, she shot him. Shot him.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I bet there's.
Taylor goes, "You're giving her ideas." She's like, "Oh, I didn't know."
But there is a.
I had this idea today, and I wanted to ask y'all. This would be for some video content for us. Do you have a 2250 reloaded guy?
I do.
Okay. I want to break down some M855.
Okay.
Because they have these 62 grain, steel penetrators. Take the bullets, put them in a 2250.
Okay.
And we want to do penetration tests with that.
We don't need to break them down because I got a jar full in the house.
Of M855? The green tip.
Well, it sounds like a plan.
Okay. That would be fun.
I'm still working on how to use the GoPro. I did break it out and use it, but it had to update, and then it had to connect.
Did you ever get it to update?
Well, see, I was trying to. It won't connect. It was having trouble connecting to my Wi-Fi, and then it was having trouble. It needed to do the batteries, and none of the batteries were charged. So I charged all the batteries, and now I've got to put another battery back in there and try to reattach it to my phone, and I haven't done that since yesterday. Right.
Also, on another positive note, I got bored today and I found the bulletproof glass pallet that I lost. So we have bulletproof glass.
How much bulletproof glass do you have?
I have a pallet full. So, yeah.
There's an individual interested in some of that.
Is there? Oh, it's 1.25 inch laminated explosion-proof glass. I know it holds up to an AR. 30 rounds, no problem. 22-250 will go through it.
Didn't you have some plates for Eric Play or?
I've got some AR plate too. I got a lot of AR plate, 1/2 inch. That'd be fun to kind of see because that 1/2 inch. Most people just use 3/8, so that half will be could be fun.
We'll definitely have to try and play around with that. I'm interested in making some video content. I put up a small snippet of video content when I was just playing around, seeing if I got the bullet out of a Calibri round, would it go down the barrel of my 22 airgun. Since the grains are so similar, 20 grains versus 18.3, I figured it might work. But I also don't want to jam my air gun.
Well, I mean, we can get it
I'll
out.
tell you something that we can do that I saw on the internet and it was really badass. I saw on YouTube, there's a whole video series of it. And you know the damn 22 blanks for your air gun? Or no, for your...
Are you talking about putting a pellet
pellet?
and then shooting it down like a single... Yeah, I've seen that. It's for Tal Floater Mouse.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
Your pellets, they're steel, correct? They're just steel
No, they're
pellets.
lead.
No,
They're lead pellets, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can get non-alloy pellets.
I was just wondering, I don't think there's going to be any issue. I mean, that brass cake, we'll get it out if it does get stuff. Let's do it.
I want to test it out. I mean, you gotta do it somehow, right? I mean, you gotta try. So I figured that could be a video, just seeing if we can. I need a pair of pliers and just dig those calibres out. And
I would actually cut the case off of the Dremel, so you try to save from just forming that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like do some operating.
Why not just get a phone book and shoot a few rounds with the phone book on the cover?
Here's what it's- You gonna hold the phone book?
I don't know. We talked about like a true phone book.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get you guys to kind of rounded back to the original topic.
Sorry, yeah.
No, it's okay. We're chasing rabbits.
Don't hit us.
Not today. No, I only do that in private. Anyway.
It was more fun with me, wasn't it?
No. I bet I would be. Anyway, so as your first AR build, what would y'all recommend? Like, some people are getting new into the thing, and the standard thing is to go with like a 16-inch regular rifle, you know, with the rifle stock and everything else like that. But I bought a pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I knew all the kind of stuff that was surrounded with pistols, what you can and can't do with them, what you're supposed to not do with them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were going to recommend somebody get a first rifle, what would you recommend like the specs be? And would you recommend buying the rifle or building it or partially building it? Go.
You were who? You want this one?
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Honestly, I mean every AR that I've ever owned,
Application specific.
I had built myself. Well, everything, all the ARs, I built myself. You know, some with some, you know, the uppers might have been already assembled. You know, I mean, I didn't build. I assembled parts myself. Let's put it that way. Because that gun, it's like a Lego gun. If you can, I would honestly say if somebody wanted one just to get comfortable with, had no experience, no time on that platform, get like just a carbine kit. Get a Palomino State Armory. Okay, if it's priced right, you know, if you budget minded, you know, just to get shooting fundamentals down, and then or you can just buy a bunch of nice parts, a simple rifle, and upgrade it as you go. I would do that.
That's a big option. You know, I think it comes down to application. If you're wanting an AR, because, well, right now it's the thing to have. So I want one, I'm going to go to the range, shoot it a couple times, and take it back to the house. And that's it. Yeah, just go buy one off the shelf and, you know, trick it out over time if you want. If you're looking for something specific for, you know, I want to go pig hunting or whatever, then I would say buy it in your caliber or build it. I'm on a pistol kick right now just because it's so convenient.
But I kind of fall somewhere in the middle of that. Ironically, I know you're like build it yourself, and you're like sort of if you're just new to go get it. I mainly say if somebody's new coming up to me, that I will say go buy it off the shelf unless they have some sort of prior firearm knowledge, because of how intimidating it can be. Like you can rattle off like bolt carrier groups and barrels and calibers, but to somebody that's new, they don't understand any of this common language.
Yeah,
they're asking, well, what is caliber? What does that even mean? Can this type of gun only shoot this type of gun? This type of bullet? Is there only one caliber shoots this type? You know what I'm saying? Like a bolt action rifle only shoots a .308. You know, some people are so new to that sort of thing that mostly if somebody comes out asking me for advice, because I know as the gun guy in your outward circles, other than being here, you might have somebody on the outside being like, well, what should I buy? And I steer them towards Palmetto State Armory.
And then a lot of people say they're junk. I call them entry or beginner tier.
Yes.
And they're fucking great guns, man. I shot the fuck out of a bunch of Palomino builds. They don't tear up.
No, they're going to shoot. I mean, again, you're not trying to get half MOA, you know. If that's your goal, yeah, you know.
I mean, if you're using iron shots or red dot, you know.
Exactly. And then, again, if you're just starting out shooting, do you really need the 3-pound trigger, or the 2.5-pound trigger, or is the factory 6-pound going to be just fine? You don't not
he
know
doesn't
the difference.
You haven't grown up enough to be a trigger shop
Exactly.
yet.
You're talking about a $60 trigger versus a $150, $200, $300 trigger.
And the nice thing about the AR is it's a platform that can grow as you grow as an experienced shooter.
Yeah.
Gain more knowledge.
Upgrade your sights, upgrade your optic, bolt carrier group, start lightening things up. Then if you decide to reload, you can start playing with buffer weights and everything.
Or just build a completely another freaking gun.
Or do I'm going to build this for this.
Normally I'll say something sort of like this when somebody asks me that question. What should I do? And I say, I want an AR-15. What should I do? I'll say, if you're very part specific and you know that you're going to customize it, and I'll tell you
customize it from the get-go.
And I say, if you know you're going to customize it, and I bet you will, because there's just too many parts out there for you to pick and choose from, and you're not going to be happy with this part and stuff like this, then you should go ahead and get the parts that you want on that specific gun. That way you've already factored in all the money you're going to have spent, because you're going to have one, if you buy, let's say, the rifle I normally say to get would be an M&P 2.0. I think that's the best of the sort of budget that I've seen on the internet. That's the most reliable, a little bit more reliable than a Palmetto, a little bit more reliable than a Ruger. Now, this is just from my basic.
Mil-spec, bro.
There's only like 5 forges, bro.
Yeah.
For me, I don't mind buying one off the shelf. I don't think that's a bad idea. Buy one off the shelf and upgrade it over time. You're not putting out as much money all at once. And then when it's said and done, you have enough parts to build a whole other rifle. Well, now you have 2, and you kind of expand it out.
Right. That is a way of thinking too. I just think that generally the good thing about having an AR-15 is those spare parts can come with use.
Oh yeah.
All sorts of other guns take AR-15 compatible parts, and you'll have like an extra stock to go on your .22 air rifle, bolt action gun, lever gun.
Well,
there's so many adapters out there for them.
My Howell with the 80 arms chassis. It's a bolt action chassis rifle, but the grip and the stock and everything are all AR compatible. Right. And I'm sure Taylor's in the same boat I am. I change stocks all the time and grips all the time. I've got a plethora of a closet full of springs and everything else to probably almost complete a gun if I just wanted a run-of-the-mill gun.
Cordero actually did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had just a bunch of spare parts that he had changed out over time. And Cordero is one of our friends who doesn't want to be on the podcast, but we'll mention him by name just to piss him off.
He'll never hear it.
Yeah. He really won't, probably. But he used all his spare parts to build an entirely new gun.
When did he do
that was a few years ago. He's probably done sold that right.
He's on a crossbow kick.
Yes, that's what he talked to me about the other day. He's wanting a crossbow really bad.
He go and see his friend Robert, he'll give him one.
Oh, I bet. Robert really likely to give me one.
Got one in the closet. I don't think I've ever shot. It's been in the closet for 4 years.
That's an interesting thing, getting off AR, going to the crossbow.
Then you can use it in Texas at least, but you can't archery it. It has to have limbs for it to be an archery.
Really?
Yes.
Limbs?
Like a crossbow or a regular bow. It can't. Air bows, which is what those are called.
So you use them during rifle season?
Yes, you have to use those during rifle season.
Oh darn!
I think it's to do with the heritage of archery and having their own season. I bought a crossbow the year before it became legal to hunt with them during archery season. So you can hunt with them. You could always hunt with them during a general season, but you couldn't hunt with them during archery season, and that was the main thing with the state of Texas, was getting that to be thing, because they were like, well, you're just sort of, that could be the gateway into archery that you really want at the end of the day.
Have you seen the videos of the guys that are hunting like ducks with their crossbows? That is
you get those bird points on. Have you seen those bird points?
Yes, that is really, really fun to watch.
Actually, Cordero showed me the other day about how this guy was taking birds out of the sky with a bow.
Yeah. Do you see the tips are like those?
It's like a guillotine.
He's like,
yeah.
It's a judo point. Probably.
It's the same one they use on a lot of turkeys too.
Yeah.
That little, that big old thing.
It's like you can get them in 2 and 3 inch circles with a cross in them. They're all razor. Yeah.
Crossbows have come up in technology and stuff, but I haven't had something similar happen. My crossbow broke. Like,
What kind did you have?
it was a PSE Rattler, Copperhead Rattler. I remember that because the name made absolutely no sense.
Did you get it at Academy?
No, yes, I did, but it was in Longview Academy back before there was one in Tyler many years ago. That was the first thing I bought with my Berkshire's money that was the first.
I
thing.
remember that. That was a long time ago.
Yes, that was the first thing that I saved up my money and bought. Like that was a rifle or anything like that. So I really thought they were cool, and I hunted with one. I never shot anything with it. Never. It gave me the option to go out and hunt, but I just got ate up with mosquitoes and stuff like that. My brother shot a deer with that bow, and I eventually ended up giving it to him because the stock broke. Like there's a state PSC's ingenious ingenuity put a metal screw through the plastic stock, and all of that recoil coming back with the crossbow just broke it.
Yeah.
And he gave it to somebody and traded it, and they fixed it with a really, really long screw. But every time I tried to shoot that thing, the scope was off. I don't know. It kind of got me into archery and out of archery at the same time.
Man, I've always like shot bows and stuff when I was like a little kid. Like, didn't really get to do archery much. I got to finally shoot a compound bow that was set up.
Yeah.
Kind of for somebody that's equivalent size and, pull of me. And holy shit, I could hit. I was putting arrows on arrows.
That's funny.
So anyway, but I don't know, crossbows are interesting. You have anything to add about crossbows, or even want to talk about crossbows? I didn't expect to talk about crossbows.
No, but crossbows, I think they're a good tool. They're a good intermediate ground between actually, a firearm and a bow. If you're not very good at archery, they kind of fill that gap.
Well, I mean, it can be your entryway into
right. Yeah, that's
archery.
what I'm trying to say.
It takes a lot of skill to be
a lot of skill. With that bow helps take out a lot of the, learning curve.
But you still have to learn how the arc works and how to hold over. But it takes you don't have to sit there and hold for like minutes. Maybe on a deer, you just cock it and you're ready. Yeah, you're ready to go. And they're fun, but it's just all archery is so fucking expensive.
Any hobby initially is very expensive.
Very, but archery much more so. I feel like them arrows or bolts, depending on what you're doing and things. If something breaks,
I don't know. I mean, obviously guns are expensive too, but a lot of the people that are big into archery, they're almost like a car. I mean, once they're a year or two old, their value drops. Resale value and everything on bows. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Go look at a pawn shop right now.
They're like, oh, this is a 2018. Oh well, it's a third of what you paid for it. It's like a car.
I don't think bows hold. Yeah, they don't hold the value. That's
when the new year and the new model comes out, they absolutely.
Well, go look. Like I said, go look at a pawn shop right now. Look how many bows are just piled up in pawn shops.
Whereas if you look at, you said the M&P 2.0 versus the 1.0, the price is $50 difference, maybe.
They don't hold their value.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
That's what Cordero was saying when he was over here, is that he bought a $1,000 bow. 2 years later, it's worth $5,000 because the technology's evolving. So it's like an iPhone. The next year that iPhone comes out, the technology's done advanced so far that it's worthless now.
Really? What'd they add to the new iPhone?
I don't know, but I'm just saying that.
They took the headphone jack.
That's right. You should really get an Android.
No, Androids are buggy.
No,
they certainly are.
No, I've never had
yeah.
I'm an iPhone convert. I can't.
Every Android
I have an iPhone 6, and I'm more happy with that.
There's always bugs with
exactly
with new technology. They just keep doing all this shit.
I don't care if it's not as customizable or whatever the fuck the Android.
Oh man, you don't see this?
I had one. It would always break down. The battery was always shit. No.
So
you want to see this custom video that Shawn sent me? Like, let me show you the superior quality of the Android in their screens. Look how good the film quality is on this video.
Well, getting back onto that, the only thing I agree with you as far as their regressive thing where like they take away things. What does it hurt to have a headphone jack other than it forces you to use Bluetooth?
To buy their fucking AirPods.
They just wanted people to buy their AirPods.
Yeah,
That's exactly why.
They do that kind of crap all the time, which is annoying. But the phone literally works better than any Android I've ever had. It just works. Like the way you want to use it, what you mean to say. It doesn't. I was always having to back up for what I was trying to say, and I don't know if it's the algorithm or whatever, but it like can predict what I'm trying to go. I guess it learns what you're doing. I don't know. It's probably listening to us right now, trying to sell us something, but
oh yeah,
I can't really help anything. But to add for crossbows before we move on to another topic.
Y'all want to take mine out to the range to see if we can hit it 200 yards?
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't mind maybe losing a couple arrows.
I'm good.
I don't know how far that they can go, to be honest.
Well, as much hard as we can put. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it maxes out at 150 or 170. Yeah. We can also shoot it directly in the air and see who stays in the same spot.
Yeah, we can play.
Last one there gets the $10.
Yeah, we can play.
I'm gonna forfeit my $10.
Crossbow roulette.
Crossroad, yeah.
Crossbow roulette.
Yeah.
What have you seen? They're coming out with like those Legolas top bows. Have y'all seen that
What?
stuff? Where it's like a bow with a magazine, and you just pull. It's like a semi-automatic bow. You just draw on fire up to 10 times or however many times. Jorga Sprav,
I
the
think that's
slingshot guy,
Hunger Games,
came up with
maybe.
that. It makes you into a Hunger Games guy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Look up the Jorga Sprav's Legolas bow for those who are interested in that. But okay, we covered two of the topics that I wanted to go ahead and talk about. Well, in a sort of capacity, pistol or rifle. Which would y'all prefer to own as far as it goes? Do you like the regular, the ease of purchase, I guess, with the rifle? There's not as many laws dictating what you can and can't put on it, and you can do whatever pretty much you want with a rifle. Where as far as a pistol build, it's kind of getting into a gray area as far as braces and what foregrip you can put on the end of it, and does it meet the certain legal length to put a foregrip on it? And there's a lot of gray TF area there.
I think if you're going to do it, it really comes down to what you want. I mean, if you're going to put a can on it and everything else, then yeah, why not go as short as you can go while still getting your maximum burn? If that's 12 inches, 14 inches, 10, whatever. And then you still wind up around the 16 mark. If you're not going to do a can, what?
Nothing. I
You just feel like you're thinking so.
Like, fuck it. Have fun, man. Just put a 7-inch barrel on it so it you just blast away.
Just burn it out. Now, what do you have? He is a flaming pig, right?
Yeah.
And how
It's
much?
an eroding pig. Actually.
It's an eroding pig. Yeah.
It's burning away.
It's eroding away. It's melting my. And I said, hey, can I buy a new replacement end cap for this? It's no, we sell you a whole new one. I'm like, I don't need a whole new one.
Yeah. So again, application and the reason why you might want your full powder burn before.
Well, I mean, velocities. I'm not a velocity hoe. I mean, I don't.
That's on a 223, isn't it?
Yeah.
5.56 is really dependent on power. The shortest, from what I understand from my cursory knowledge and research, 10 is about the max you can go and get a good lethal. I mean, they're still going to be lethal, but a good, efficient enough powder burn to go out to the rifle distances that is in general for what people want. 10.5 inches is about as short as you can go and be as efficient as possible. 7 is really, you're getting a whole lot of extra powder coming out there and a whole lot of fire.
Yeah.
And fire.
And you also can't, you have to rely on a pistol length gas system, and those haven't been perfected as far as the carbine and up have.
I mean, it's a fucking tube that gas goes through.
I'm
It
just
hits the
telling
back
you.
of the boat. You're just telling me stuff's red.
Yes.
I'm telling you from first-hand real-world experience, they will kill motherfucking anything I pointed at.
Oh, it's still lethal for sure.
No lie.
Oh, but the velocity. But no, fuck. It's a
Again, that comes down. Are you trying to get a half MOA at 200 yards?
It's a 7-inch fucking barrel.
You're
If I
not-
can hit
exactly.
an 8-inch steel plate at 100, I'm fucking happy.
Exactly.
And that's what it's designed for. I'm not going to go beat Chris Kyle with the motherfucker. I'm just going to go bam, bam, pew, pew.
Application.
Application.
Well, you do get, seeing as it was designed for a 20-inch barrel, that whole system's designed for a 20-inch barrel. Even a 16-inch barrel isn't getting as much power. Because in Vietnam, they called it the meat axe, and for a good reason, because it's going so fast that all that velocity is damaging.
I can say, I've got the 20-inch bull barrel, and I don't have a lot of drop at 300 yards versus 100 yards. There's not a whole lot of difference in that. I could safe to say,
Hey.
Yeah.
You brought up that 20-inch bull barrel.
Uh-huh.
I was looking today on the website.
Okay.
And this website sells liquidated. Let's say how Bushmaster and DPMS all got bought out by Remington, and they're now defunct. This website is selling all their AR inventory, branded stuff at very highly discounted prices.
Oh.
Well, one thing I noticed, you talk about barrels, is what are those Remington rifles with the triangular barrels?
VT something, VTR,
Okay.
something like that.
They have a 24-inch stainless steel VT whatever for AR barrel.
Really? So I looked at the bolt action version. I was thinking about buying it. I'd come across it at a pawn shop, and then after I looked into it a little bit, there was a lot of people saying that triangular shape just screwed the harmonics of the barrel up, and that you got more whip, and the shots weren't as repeatable as what. So I don't know. There seemed like there was more people that didn't like the accuracy of the gun,
right?
And it was a bolt action, so it should be accurate.
That's not always.
But that would be cool to have a triangular shape.
But 24-inch barrel on AR, man, that's kind of.
That 20 I've got is about as much. 20.
That's the right river too. It's 26.
Well, I've got 26 on the 7 mag is 26.
I'm talking about the AR.
Well, yeah, the AR is a 20. The CZ is a 26, and then
just for me, an AR-15 doesn't need a fucking
anything
over 20.
And even 20 is pushing. I don't see why you couldn't get away with 18. It's heavy. I don't carry the Rock River anywhere. It's heavy. It's
kind of more of like a post up and say, hey, watch me hit all these steel targets out.
Yeah. Watch me go from 100 to 150 to 2.
Yeah, good fucking coyote gun.
That's great. Yeah, I've used it for that.
Right.
But so is the 2250. But I like it.
Yeah, I want to put the steel penetrators from 20 to 250 and see. I want to do fucking plate testing with that.
I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good bunch of reference points. It's a good thing for a new shooter to maybe get a little bit of an idea. And don't be afraid to ask questions. If somebody wants to be an asshole to you, they're not the person to go to.
So
that's the question. We won't be assholes.
Any question.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
I know.
Listen for the drop and send us an email. We'd be happy to answer your questions if you have any.
So I know one of your topics was you were going to kind of touch on calibers today, right?
Yeah, what would be a good caliber for one of your first AR builds?
Or any other time other than right now, I'd say we'll just get you a 223. But with ammo being so hard to get right now, in practically any caliber, which back to why I'm building the 7.62 by 39 right now, because I can get ammo for it.
Yeah, I sent you a picture of it yesterday.
Yeah, there's plenty of it. And
7.62 by 39.
So for me, that's kind of my thing. If you're worried about it, you might as well go ahead and get it in whatever you can find right now. Don't build one in 9mm.
I know a lot of people.
350 Legend might be a good idea.
Well, see, here's
Walmart has that.
Walmart has 350 Legend. So that's the thing. I know people that are getting 350 Legend because Walmart has.
Yeah.
Even though they kind of shit on, guns in general, it's still, they're in so many locales that it's kind of hard to.
But I think we've touched on this before, but I know people that are dumping 300 Blackout because it's expensive and unattainable, but they're like 72 by 39, the same fucking thing.
Yeah. One positive with the 300 Blackout, and I think that it would, help keep it around more, is the fact that if for whatever reason it did get hard to get, ammo for it, but maybe you can still get 223, you can always cut the case. You have that option. You're not totally limited, or you're not limited to finding a specific hard to find case to do it with. So I think that aids the 300 Blackout a little bit.
And the bullets are 308s.
And the bullets are 308s. And you got a 120 to 210, 20 grain range. I mean, you have a 100 grain range on a 100 Blackout. So
I wonder too. I was just sitting here thinking. I wonder if we're the U.S. is the world's largest consumer of 7.62 by 39.
The AK platform is so ubiquitous, I wouldn't know.
Okay, so besides some third world countries using the AK now, still, because it's not Russians aren't using. Nobody's using that round except third world countries. Wouldn't you think the U.S. would be probably the?
Well, I'd imagine we'd probably be the world's number one consumer of most all ammunition.
Oh, okay. I will say that, but I'll say about 7.62 by 39.
That's a good question. Honestly, I
wouldn't
know.
Is Mozambique using it? No.
Oh, we looked at some Monarch ammo in a can, didn't we?
Yeah.
From Russia.
Oh, that's fucking
And what did it say on the lid?
Okay, so the Monarch. Okay, so the Monarch, that's the Academy brand ammo, or that's their house label. Well, it's all Russian-made ammo, and it's all made by Bunghole.
Uh-huh.
They have started putting on those Russian spam cans a sticker on top, and it is the come and take it flag sticker.
With the cannon.
With the
Straight from Russia to the Academy.
Motherfucking capitalism.
Yeah, they're kind of taking advantage of the capitalistic tendencies over
Yeah.
there.
Uh-huh.
Well, they're capitalists now, I think, kind of.
There's no true communists left in the world.
North Korea.
Yeah, Korea, North Korea,
Cuba.
Argentina.
Cuba's not. No, but nobody's 100% communist anymore. They have sort of a mix of communism with some capitalistic elements. China's the biggest one. It's still Bosnia.
No, Albonia.
Albonia. What are you talking about? But even China has some capitalistic stuff going on. It's not 100% communist.
It's only communist to the peasants.
Right.
If you're on the upper echelon.
Say upper echelon again.
Upper echelon.
So what do you think about gun buybacks?
So guys, what do y'all think about gun buybacks?
Well, I saw an interesting article the other day about one that they had in New York where they got a whopping 44 guns. Saw the picture of the table full of guns, and 3 on the far right had nice, pretty orange tips.
Right.
Somebody got some money for their airsoft, I'm telling you.
I know. People don't know what they're doing. I seen this the other day. Like, there was in Tampa, Florida, where something similar happened. And they got stolen guns back that somebody had stolen that they got paid for to turn in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's fucking retarded.
Okay, so there's 2 things. The old lady that brings the Stormgewehr to the gun buyback.
That doesn't understand how much it's worth.
Then there's the people that go to gun buybacks and set up a booth and pay more for the guns. And then there's the guy that makes the Home Depot special shotguns, slam-fire shotguns, and sells them.
Yes, and that's all. And in this picture that I'm looking at right now, there is a fairly nice-looking, Colt Detective revolver, a single-shot shotgun that's probably worth about $50, a Jennings that's probably worth about $25 that they probably paid. They gave them $50 for.
Yeah.
And then
That
a
has
frame,
a firing pin.
a literal frame of a revolver.
Yeah.
That they got paid $50 for. That's probably not worth anything.
Yeah. I mean, you think of all the wall hangers, that you end up with over time. I mean, they had a gun buyback. Why wouldn't they take them up there? I mean,
sure.
Give me my $150, $200 gift card.
Assuming the government just paid for literal trash with your tax dollars, or they bought stolen merchandise from criminals, or they melted down a historically significant piece of history. Any one of those options is terrible.
I don't know. I feel good for the guy that went to Home Depot and made the slam fire shotgun.
Well, I mean, I'm good for him, but you still fucked over the American taxpayer.
He paid taxes too.
That's true.
And when he spends that $200, he's paying sales tax.
My question is,
So,
can I 3D print a whole bunch of AR-15 receivers with cheap-ass plastic on my 3D printer and go turn?
You probably could because they're too stupid to know what the fuck's a gun and what's not a gun. That's part of the problem.
yeah.
So they probably be like, oh, this isn't a gun.
Well, if Shawn said they turned in orange
Airsoft.
tipped AR airsoft rifles.
There weren't. No, we're talking about like the pistol, like
Right.
and blatantly
Zombie
clear from the photo that they either came from the dollar store or they came from Academy on the BB gun aisle.
Yes.
You know,
And
that's what they were.
And they don't. These people that don't. The anti-gun people are so dumb. They're so afraid.
They don't know anything about guns.
And that. So you're taking in literal trash.
Yeah.
And paying for it.
Or
You're
the
stupid.
lady that fucking what was that? Was she like she went to saw the AR-15 in half?
Yeah.
Because she cut the barrel off and literally committed a felony on camera.
Uh-huh.
Because she just cut the barrel where it would still function, but she didn't understand what she was doing, and the ATF got involved. Stupid. If you don't know what you're doing, just stay out of it. I know I'm trying not to be a gatekeeper, but don't destroy something that you don't know what you're doing with. At least ask somebody before you take a hacksaw to a gun, because you could end up committing a
And
felony.
if you have any weapons that you no longer want, you just send them to us. We will gladly dispose of them for you
Properly.
Pinky promise. I seen another thing in New York where it was like they said, like in Queens, where they wanted everybody to come by, have their guns, gun buyback. They got 3 guns. 2 million people in Queens, 3 guns.
Well, you offer somebody $200 for a gun that they got $1,000 in. If they ever, for whatever reason.
I don't think people are going to be getting rid of guns right now.
Well, no, not right now. But okay, so say Biden or somebody like that won the election. Beto, we're going to take your AR-15s, all that good stuff, blah blah blah. When they actually try to do some kind of a buyback program, there is not a person around that is going to sell their $1,000 AR for $200.
Right? It's either if it's registered or confiscation, you're going to have a war.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's going to confiscate them?
Well, the police would have essentially come into confiscation.
Those same police that are up in Oregon in the vans.
Not the fuck you go away at you unless you got a warrant.
Yeah.
But I just don't see. We don't have those very often in Texas. Mostly because there's so many people. Like if you go outside and put up a stand, you probably get way more money for it than.
Oh yeah, we could literally. I thought about just sitting on the side of the road and sell guns, like at a watermelon type thing.
I think the police would have a better drug buyback program in Texas than a gun buyback
Yeah.
program.
That'd be true. That actually true. For whatever reason, the Texas a lot of the older conservative type Texas people hate drugs.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like the more our generation's a little bit more libertarian.
Yeah.
But you can't really fill out a 4473 and do drugs.
And buy some meth.
If you ever fill out a 4473 and ask you if you have ever plan on doing fucking drugs, what are you saying? Drugs bad.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where he was going with that one.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah. Don't do drugs, kids. Drugs are bad.
Wink,
PSA from Taylor Pond.
You got to verbally add the wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Yeah, no.
Not endorsed, not legally. But I don't know.
Federal, state, and local laws apply, and that's true.
Colorado rocks right there with Cali on there.
So, here's my thing. If you live in Colorado and you're buying firearms and partaking in your legal state rights, you're
technically
breaking
the law.
Federal law.
Yeah, technically, yes.
Well, they're technically breaking federal law either way.
Regardless, yeah.
Right.
Because it's a state
But
thing.
you're breaking both federal as far as ATF goes and federal as far as drugs go.
So, who has their state rights supersede federal?
No.
Federal supersedes.
At any point, federal could step in if they
And
really
they're not
wanted
because
to. because there ain't a damn thing they can do about it.
Well, I mean, I don't think the Fed really
That's
is
right up there
looking
with,
into getting into a legal battle with Colorado. 'cause
especially over marijuana.
I don't think that it would go over well, and it would just be a bunch of wasted taxpayer money.
Oh, yeah.
I have a good fucking question.
Okay, let's hear it.
How is a fucking plant that just grows wildly and you just pick pieces off and let it dry and somewhat light it on fire and smoke it? How is that a Schedule 1 drug? When meth, you gotta like scrape up lithium batteries and mix your grandma's cough medicine and shit, and that's a Schedule 2 drug.
You sound very versed in that.
It's the area I grew up in. Man.
Oh.
They just make that bathtub
Bathtub
crank.
crank.
Yeah. Shake and bake and shit too.
Well, back as far as that goes, back when
It's racist.
no, wasn't going there, but back in whenever they classified those drugs, they seen
All the
marijuana.
jazz players.
They seen marijuana as a gateway drug.
There was a lot of push and propaganda too.
Yes,
by
there was-
pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, white people.
By pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff like that going on.
It's
That
a natural cure.
I'm pretty libertarian as far as that stuff goes, man. I don't think it should
We
be.
don't really get too political, but so I was looking into Texas's hemp, like the Department of Agriculture, Texas Department of Agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
and they're about their hemp licensing.
They tax it all.
It is taxed and like
It is taxed and taxed and then
and like
taxed
so
some more.
much scrutiny, and they got a microscope on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like just to grow a fill of hemp just for shits and giggles.
The taxes that eat it all up. See, that I don't know what the dichotomy is with that and Texas, because you seem like we're a freedom-loving people, but that only becomes short when it comes to like drugs and stuff.
Yeah. Well, you have to think of the uses for hemp too. I mean, paper products and everything else. Fibers. So that was obviously a big push back. You know,
The
40s
CBD
and
craze
50s.
right now.
You know, your cotton and everything else. I mean, that was just what it was. You get way more yield out of hemp than what you do out of cotton.
See, I would grow it for the fibers. I'm not all into that CBD, extractions and whatnot they do.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it for the fibers. I'm going to look into it. I think it'd be interesting.
Well, I mean, there is a bill going to the Senate right now, the House right now, for legalization of marijuana
Across the whole
across
America?
this. Yes,
America?
across America, where it won't only be California and Colorado.
They're going to limit our plants, or could I just plant a whole field out?
I don't know the specifics. I just know.
I mean, if it's legal, it's legal.
it's
you know?
legal. It's trying
That's-
to make it legal.
That's my
Like,
thing. But,
Everybody's got like
Trump's re-election campaign.
hey,
He'd
it
probably
probably
win.
passed the House, so
It'll probably pass that.
I
Yeah.
would say if they did pass it, you got pumpkin patches or blueberry farms. I'm going to do like Taylor's Pick and Dry, have a whole field of it, and you can come pick what you want.
You're a business. You're an entrepreneur,
Yeah, I'm going to say, fuck the cows, we're going to grow this.
or let the cows eat it and then sell that meat.
Ooh.
Happy Meat.
Happy
You got Beyond Meat, right? Or was that Beyond Burger? Or
Yes.
what?
THC infused steaks.
So yeah, this is going to be THC. So eat a burger, get so hungry, you eat a second one.
Or it could be, like you see roadside produce stands. Be like, I got your Banana Kush, your OG Yoda, your,
OG Yoda.
yeah. You never heard of OG Yoda?
Didn't know that.
I did, I just made it up.
Oh, well then.
It sounded real.
It did. I mean, I wasn't going to disagree.
I wouldn't know. I'm too much of a good boy.
I don't do drugs or drug accessories.
I do
Hank
sell
Hill.
drugs and drug accessories. You could be the Hank Hill of the new entrepreneur.
Cool. Bobby. All right. Let's move on to gun topics and get off federal illegal.
But that is a good point that you made, because I don't know, if let's say if you had broken the law and they wanted to get you on something, because the police are kind of, what's the word, cagey, or not cagey, but smart when it comes to that kind of thing, where they they got Al Capone on tax evasion.
Oh yeah.
So why wouldn't they use the fact that you broke federal law when you were buying your gun, because you are a known,
Well, so this is what they kind of ran into, I guess, before California did it, where it was recreational. So you'd go to the doctor and you would get a prescription for it.
Yeah.
Well, then you're in the database. Well, then, when you go to file for your, I want to buy a gun crap in California that you go through, you would ping that you had a prescription, and then they wouldn't pass you.
So you basically had to give up one right to enjoy something else.
Exactly.
That's fucked up. I'm sorry.
So
Isn't
once
that covered under the HIPAA law?
It is now. It might not have been when that was a thing.
at that time, like I said, it's recreational now, so there's not I've got a prescription, it's in a database type thing where they can see it. But, that's something that you might run into in Oklahoma. If you go and get that prescription, you're then in that database. Of course, Oklahoma is much more, open with their gun stuff. It's not like it is in California where you have to, or New York even, you've got to apply to get a gun.
Yes.
It's just like here in Texas, you want a gun, you go get a gun, just do a normal background check, and you're done. Not a process. So.
But did you know that one of these recent years, California was actually the number one gun buying state? They were beating out everybody. There's a lot of gun people in California. They're just stuck in a bad way.
And you've got a lot of people right now, too, not just with the coronavirus and everything going on, but there's a lot of people that are panicking over the proposed tax on ammunition, where it's 100% tax.
Who's trying to do that?
It was put forth by somebody. Whether or not it passes, I doubt it passes and all that, but that's a tremendous, financial burden that's added to it, make the ammunition so expensive nobody buys a gun. I think that's the thought process.
I think that they could successfully argue that that's that would literally be a Second Amendment issue.
I'm sure, yeah.
And win off that one, because that's unreasonable. That's incredibly unreasonable for anybody to accept. And as much as people hate it, the Second Amendment, as much as people bellow that out, is the real protection. And we do have that. So an egregious act like that would be successfully argued, I would assume.
Yeah. I don't see it passing, but you do have people that are...
Trump won't sign that.
No.
He would be castrated.
But you have people that panic about it, and then you wind up with shelves that look like Academy and everybody right now, and then when you add that in with coronavirus and everything else going on, this is what you end up with. But I know that that's a driving factor with a lot of people too.
Yeah,
there's paranoia of the tax.
I didn't even hear about that tax. I don't even.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with gun politics.
And then what? You're got to be lead-free ammunition in the state of California now.
Yeah,
completely.
I think that they
that passed, and that's in effect, I believe.
A lot of that, but the recent magazine ban in California that
got struck down. Yes.
So I don't know if that just because they passed that doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way.
Yeah, but currently it is in effect. So
I feel really bad for the people that live in California they don't have the option to move. And
there's a lot of people in Northern California, and they hate it too, because they are a different way of life in Northern California than what they are in
I thought that was Southern California.
No.
SoCal.
Southern
No.
California. East LA, man,
Yeah. When you get up, you're
like
further
in the
north.
Redwoods and shit.
Yeah. Those guys, they're more...
oh, that's right. I'm sorry. They wanted to make the three Californias where they joined with the southern part of Oregon, because the southern part of Oregon is a very conservative leaning place too, but they're controlled by the coastal cities of America, and Portland and Seattle are major coastal cities. And the entire state of California is a coastal city basically. And they control the narrative when it comes to stuff like that. And it's just a shame to see good people be treated like shit.
And they really have fought to try to break away and be their own. They don't want to live under those same rules. And then California's got the same. A lot of EPA stuff has been pushed through in California. There's a lot of them that have to sell their 18-wheelers now because they don't regen or whatever. Still great trucks, late 90s, but they have to sell them. They're selling them to people here in Texas. So
I had no idea about that. That's just. There's so much going on there.
It's like I say,
I'm a trove of useless knowledge. I promise.
California,
really good.
California is the land of fruits and nuts.
Well, yeah. And if you ever drive in, they will stop and search you and make sure you're not bringing any fruit, any vegetable, anything like that coming into the state.
Or fire
You can't
ants.
do it. Or fire ants, yeah. And
That's kind of reasonable. You don't want the fucking fire ants to get anywhere.
Oh, they say they're a fire ant free state, but
I doubt
I doubt it.
that. I mean,
It's a shame too, because that state is just so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, they were our Texas and California. That star on California is for Texas because back in the day they saw us as their brother state, and it's just turned completely around. We have similar stories coming from Mexico, and it's like we've turned in completely opposite directions. And I just hate it for the good people out there. And you say, one of the things I wanted to bring up to you guys, and it wasn't on the agenda today, but was how do you feel about people moving out of California and into Texas and other states similar to like a conservative leading state? Texas is the one that comes up the most. Joe Rogan recently moved to Texas.
Did he?
Yes, he's up and running. He's got his new studio in Austin.
Wait, really? No shit.
oh, he is excited now. He's ready for a road trip.
I didn't know this, but I guess he got tired of the wildfire.
He did. He got tired of everything living in California.
So wait, that's it. I haven't watched any of his new podcast, but he has moved completely.
He's
Did
here.
Jaden move with him?
I don't know. I just know that he's in Texas.
That's crazy. He moved to Austin.
Yes. Kind of the California of Texas, but yes.
But that's weird too, because he seemed like he was so attached to where he lived and where he's from. He always talked about the comedy store.
Is Jesse James still in Austin too?
Yes, he's still there.
Rob Banks?
Yes, Rob Banks. You got any Jaeger over there?
No, I drank all my Jaeger.
Oh.
That's Daddy's medicine.
But So what do y'all think about that? I mean, do you think, and I guess I'm not trying to get into national politics, but do you think most of the people are anti-California and leaving because, and I know this is part of it, because they hate California and they want to move to a more gun-friendly state, a more economically friendly state, and they're going to vote for those opposite policies of California. But you also hear of people coming out of California and spreading their stupid to the other states. So do you think in the grand scheme of things that we will influence the newcomers or the newcomers will influence us? And should we hate Californians for trying to get out of California?
I just don't want them to bring their voting
Habits.
Yeah.
There's cause and effect for everything. You vote a certain way long enough, and, those are the results you get. You can't sit here and because you dislike something about somebody else, so you vote this way because you want that specific thing to end. I mean, there's other things, too, that are going to go along with that you're going to get your own limited and taken away from in the same way. So everybody should get to do what they want as long as it doesn't hurt nobody else to an extent.
I was thinking, too, like, also big cities always vote more liberally. But, you always, I don't know why this is coming up right now, but, like, remember San Francisco had this homeless people problem with them shitting?
They still do.
Okay. Me and Shawn were in San Antonio the other day.
Same issues.
Downtown San Antonio, eating at this excellent place for breakfast. And I just happened to look at there's fucking shit in the alleys.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Sidewalks. Yeah.
Sidewalks. And San Antonio with all this coronavirus shit is a ghost town. So all the people that are walking down are just these street urchin, transient hobos. They're just, walking around with nothing better to do.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, nice. So I don't know why they don't load them all on a bus and drop them off the edge of town.
Well, that a lot of people were playing. I heard legends of big cities like that taking them, loading them up on a bus and sending them to other, big city that would deal with them more. Load them up, get them on a free bus. And let's say California will load them up, put them on a bus, and send them straight to New York. Using that as an example, that might not be an exact example, but Austin or something like that, they would ship their homeless to somewhere else so that'd be somebody else's problem. And that could be an issue with what's going on there. Is that right? I don't know. When I went to Austin for the first time, I was freaked out because there was literally like a horde of people on Main Street playing fucking football or whatever in the middle of fucking traffic like there was nothing going on. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
That was the craziest thing you've seen in your entire life?
Well,
you have much to see. You need to hang out with us more.
Dude, this was my wife could tell you, it was literally just nuts. There's just massive people just everywhere. They don't give a fuck about what's going on. That this is a live street.
You've never been to New Orleans and seen the homeless people.
Never been to New Orleans or Mardi Gras.
And the cardboard cities that are in Austin.
We have a tent city here in Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Easier for homeless to get apartments than working class in Austin because of their homeless act or whatever. So, like affordable apartments, people who make a certain amount can't get into those apartments because they make too much.
That's ridiculous.
Longview's the same thing. We just finished one renovation, so 65% of this building is strictly for people that have an income of less than $20,000 a year, and then 20%.
And they're nice apartments.
Yeah, they're nice, and then
They're
20%
affordable.
are people that are under $50,000 a year, and then the remaining 10% or whatever anybody can live in, and it makes a really weird living dynamic, in my opinion.
You're kind of economically segregating people.
Well, and then there's no apartments for like a nurse who's working class who makes $25 an hour because that's how much they make in Austin. It's shit. And then you can't find an affordable apartment less than $1,000 that's nice, and because all those apartments are going to people who don't make any money, that are making like $10 an hour, whatever, and they're getting even cheaper rent too.
Plus
They'll have $1,000 apartment because you make this. So you make $60,000 a year. It'll be $1,000 for you. But if you make $20,000 a year, it'll be $400. The same exact apartment.
I don't think that we should just punish the homeless for being homeless, but at the same time, why are you punishing people for actually doing what we're supposed to do?
Well, see, it's really the working class that's being affected by that. Because people who make money,
and then that nurse,
people
she
that
turns
make
around
money,
and she's got school loans she needs to pay.
Yeah, her rent right now for a reasonable apartment close to the hospital is $1,200, and it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath studio, basically.
This is Taylor's significant other, Taylor, by the way.
Yeah.
An
so the
insightful
people who make a
woman.
lot of money, it doesn't affect them.
Yeah, I mean,
And the people who don't make a lot of money, it's good for them.
But those
But
others that are
everybody
in the middle.
middle.
Yep.
well, I mean, it's just like the middle class is suffering because we
pay for everything.
Yes, we get fucked by everybody, and we get most taxes.
We don't have enough money to where we're not worried about it, but we don't make such a small amount that we get any assistance.
The whole economy is based off of lower middle to upper middle class and all that in between.
Yeah.
If you don't have a middle class, you don't have an economy.
Exactly.
And working class Americans, up until the coronavirus hit, the economy was fucking amazing.
So back in the early 90s, Clinton area, they were trying to come up with a way to get more money, help balance everything. And so they did a luxury tax. It was 10% tax. It was on yachts. Okay. So with that additional 10% tax, which they said, we're going to tax just these yachts. That way it doesn't affect the middle class and everything. They said this will be the way to do it. Well, it turned out that people that were wealthy enough to buy the $20 million yacht didn't want to pay that extra 10% tax, so they didn't buy the yacht. When they didn't buy the yacht manufacturer that employed all the workers in the middle class closed. And so they all lost their jobs. Two-thirds of all yacht manufacturers closed back in 94 because of that.
See, I'm not an advocate of taxes because of that sort of thing. You want the rich people to spend money so that everybody else can have the money and get a job and have everything that they need on top of that.
The richest people in the United States, all the money they have, the taxes have already been paid on years ago.
Yeah.
They inherited all that crap.
It's been in the bank account. When they buy theirs, when that's taxed, they're pretty much all they're doing is just paying the sales tax at that point. Which I am a fan of that. I do think that there should be instead of having a income tax where we're being taxed on what we earn and all that, I'd rather see a flat tax on what we buy. So the guy that buys the $300,000 Lamborghini pays more tax than the guy that buys the $50,000 $100,000 Kia. It'll be when that money is spent that it's their tax.
Well, and I feel like we're taxed to death.
We are. Everything. We're taxed when we make it. We're taxed when we
taxed.
spend it. We tax when we get it back.
If you ever look at that little sticker on when you're filling up your pump, 40 cents of every dollar is tax. But they don't put that on the price on the thing. No. Because if you saw that, you would get pissed off about how much tax you're paying for your gas, for your food, for your house, that they tax out of your paycheck. They tax everything. You have enough taxes.
So they're taxing you. Listen, you're working and they're taxing you. You're buying the car and they're taxing you. You're maintaining the car and they're taxing you. Then you have to buy a sticker and registration for the car, which is essentially just a tax. Everything we do is tax. It's
time for an economic revolution.
You talking about a reset?
Yeah,
hard reset.
And yet, they spend so much money on, bullshit that the government's in a deficit. Clearly nobody there can do a budget. Sometimes you just have to not do that $100 million grant for laser hair removal research,
Or at least let it recover before you put $100 million into that.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of stupid shit.
Talking about reset, what do you think post-election? Well, y'all got any
I do have one little thought. If Trump gets it again, he's going to do whatever the hell he wants because he's not worried about getting reelected again. So he'll go buck wild.
What do y'all think about after the elections? Whoever wins, what do you think going to happen?
I don't think anything good is going to happen either way. I think we might have a contested election either way.
Did y'all get a letter in the mail about mail-in vote?
No.
I got a text about it.
You got a text?
Yeah.
From who?
I probably deleted it already.
I got a letter from the U.S. Postal Service about mail-in voting.
I don't trust it.
It's almost like it could be almost construed to me as voter intimidation. Yeah, but I don't know if is Texas doing mail-in votes.
I haven't. I'm not going to do it. I haven't researched it, but I'm sure they're not. It could probably be something that they may allow because of extenuating circumstances. But I don't understand why we're doing that because we can go to the grocery store and we can go to work. What is preventing you from voting? What if you wear your mask?
It's just going to take longer because they're going to make you only a certain amount of people in and wear a mask and
Okay, wear your mask and social distance. We do everything else that way.
Breaking news here. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Ginsburg has just passed away.
Damn!
Giving Trump his possible third Supreme Court nominee.
She died?
She died.
What did she die from?
Old
complications
age?
due to her complications due to her cancer battle and everything else.
I didn't know she had cancer.
Yeah, pancreatic.
Why is she 106?
Oh, yeah.
87.
Pancreatic cancer.
Pancreatic quick, man.
Yeah, but she's been battling different cancers apparently over the last 20 years. But anyway, so this does kind of tie in there. This would be Trump's third Supreme Court nomination that he'll get before election time.
So now, how does it look right now? I know Sotomayor is a Democrat, and I think there was a black man that's a Democrat, and there was Ruth Bader Ginsburg that was a Democrat, and the rest of them are Republican. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I just genuinely don't know how that split is like right now.
I don't know. All I know is that people, they get there and they have a lifetime, end-of-life job, basically.
Right. Kavanaugh was the latest one.
That's the one that the lady, they had the whole court thing.
Yeah, he didn't do it. Not to get too political, but that was a dog and pony show. To be honest, it has very similar things to what the whole Joe Biden thing was with that lady that was accusing him. Like, there's really not a whole lot you can do about 20-year-old things that nobody can prove.
That's sparkle.
Interesting little breaking news there.
That is.
How long ago this happened?
They announced it literally 4 minutes ago. So.
Oh, wow. P1B bringing to you second.
Breaking news here.
number 6 might have to go before number 5. I don't know. Man, that's crazy. We're living through some weird times, I would say that. Yeah. We're at an hour and 15 minutes right here. So,
what do you want to wrap up on anything?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of.
Do we have a Any conspiracy type
Well,
thing?
see, that was the two weird questions I wanted to
Okay.
ask you guys for fun and for shits and giggles.
Okay.
Do you look at the paper when you take a shit?
The toilet paper?
The toilet paper. When you wipe, do you look?
Wow.
I'm going to get personal up in this motherfucker.
Clearly.
I've got
Taylor, what do you want to say here? You look like you're pondering.
Do you stand up to wipe or sit?
Sit there.
Oh my god.
Do you stand to wipe?
Yeah.
Really?
You do too?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I stand up to wipe.
That's fucking weird. You just smear the shit between your cheeks when you
There you
stand
go.
up.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, like, why would you stand up?
I don't know how to wipe sit down.
Really?
I taught that.
Okay, so it's 3 seashells.
Is that the third time that's come up?
That is. Yeah, that is really weird. Okay, so I've never heard of that before.
Okay, well, that's the new information.
Have you ever missed a toilet?
I think everybody's had at least one time, depending on how drunk you are.
I'm talking about
To
the
shit
toilet
or
paper.
to...
Thank you, Taylor. I was just about to ask that.
Why not both?
We've got friends that have broken the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
On a boat.
Yeah. So, there's that.
Nobody answered my question.
Oh, sorry.
Do we look at the paper when we wipe?
Yes.
Yeah. You kind of have to.
Not if it's dark.
Well, yeah, okay. But
I
I wouldn't go around feeling
Okay,
for
look,
it.
if the lights are on, how else are you supposed to know if you got it all, right?
Turn on the
Who
light.
Okay.
shits with the lights off?
If it's in 2 o'clock in the morning, you don't turn the light on?
Turn the light on, shit.
Yeah, I do. You don't?
If it's 2 o'clock in the morning?
Because, alright, so I said that because there are people that don't look.
I feel like you need to look.
You gotta wipe till it's clean.
For-
You'll see.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
no.
Quality control purposes.
Right, you
should look.
I agree with that.
Let's put
You
it
gotta
like that.
wipe until it's clean, and then you know.
Yeah.
Some people don't do that. They just know. They say they know by feel, and I say that to say that the people like us that look to see can't believe the people
That do it by feel.
that do it by feel, and then vice versa. They can't believe you would look at it. But how do you know you're done?
I don't know.
That's a paradox. That's all I'm saying.
Well, when they stand up, and they turn around and look in the hole.
I searched it through Google because I Google everything.
Good poll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta know if you need to keep wiping or not.
Right. How do you know? I mean, I guess you could sit there and, feel around through your butt cheeks, but I don't know how to do that.
I don't want
Okay. See? I'm glad we broke the ice with that one.
You said there was 2, right?
Yes. Okay. And another thing, it's kind of in a similar vein, actually. Do you have an internal monologue? Do you know what I'm
I
talking
think I
about?
knew anything wiping my ass. You talking about like
I'll get to
somebody
that.
that narrates my fucking life in my head?
Do you,
Do
okay.
you talk to yourself or basically what you're...
Yes. Do you have a voice in your head? Like when you're thinking about something and you're reading, as an example.
Well, he doesn't have filters, so no. He just says everything.
Do you have a voice that's in your head, a monologue that you talk to yourself with, but speaking, like when you're thinking, do you hear a voice speaking?
Well, when you read, you hear a voice, I guess, right? Or you just read the words.
I don't feel like I have a conversation now. No, I would say I don't.
You don't have an internal monologue?
No,
You don't, when you think about
World
stuff,
compass.
definitely not.
you don't have you have to have an internal monologue.
I don't feel like I
You're too
ever
smart.
talk to myself.
But it's not like talking to yourself. It's like when you think about something. Don't you hear what you're saying?
I don't hear it. I'm more visual. I see it. So, like, I like numbers. That's, like, the main thing I deal with is numbers all day. And so I'll look at numbers, but I just see numbers. I'm not actually sitting there talking to myself, okay, 12 or 46 or whatever. I'm just seeing a 4 and 6. Like, I don't.
So you don't have an internal.
I guess I think I
He's
do.
a psychopath. It's fine. Or sociopath, whatever you want to call it.
I have an internal monologue.
I think maybe I'm not putting that in the best of ways, but I would be shocked to know that you don't have an internal monologue. You're so you think. I mean, you're
Articulate.
It
You're
comes out so
articulate.
quick, though. Like, there's not really there's not a thought process.
Like, I
between it.
got
It
like-
He's
just
not an
comes out.
overthinker, I think is what he's trying to
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't sit here and ponder about it. It just comes out.
but it's not about pondering. That's the thing. It's not like a deep thing. It's like when you think about something, do you hear it like in your head? Like you're hearing it, or you just when you have a thought. Okay, let's say
Are you hearing voices that...
no. Like if you're saying,
That's what it
if
sounds
you're
like
having
to
a
me.
thought, okay, like I'm looking at you and we're having a conversation,
and you think something about your shirt, do you say something in your own head?
No. I would say the closest I would come to something like that is if I was actually in deep thought or trying to focus on something, then yes. But as far as just like this or anything, no. Absolutely not. I don't get it. Yeah.
So there are people that don't have an internal monologue, and they think that might be how some people are. So like NPCs, they don't think, they just react to things. Because some people don't, like Shawn is saying, I think they don't have a thought. Like, it's just more a visual stimulation, and it kind of like goes through your head. And people that have an internal monologue can't understand how people that don't have an internal monologue think. Because it's like on a completely different basis of thinking.
Kind of like, I see how this wraps up into the whole wiping your ass thing.
Yes. People that don't think this way can't comprehend. Because everything I do has to do with my own internal monologue, my own self. You know, your third eye, as it were, where you can picture and visualize maybe movies and stuff that you see. Do you do that when you think about your favorite movie? Can it be replayed in your head?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that you.
But that's not I wouldn't say that that's a comfort. That's not a monologue necessarily. That's just a memory of what I saw going on the screen.
When you're writing a paper, how do you write a paper? Like, do you just start thinking? Are you reading it in your head what you're going to say, and then it translates to the keyboard, or are you just know immediately what you're trying to say and it just comes out?
Yeah, I'm just doing word after word. Yeah.
Well, how does a sentence look to you? Like, how do
it looks horrible. That's why I have to go back like 3 times. Yeah.
So you're not reading it out in your head as you're typing?
And 1,000,000 times it's not spelled correctly either.
Because, there was a confirmed, lady with an internal monologue, and she couldn't explain in good terms to somebody with an internal monologue how she got the sentence to be what it is. She just it looks right.
It's just like when I'm talking to you. Like, I'm not planning ahead what the next word is. This is just flowing together.
Well, I'm not planning what I'm about to say when I'm speaking to you at the same time.
But that's the same way when I go to write.
But when I'm alone and on myself, I hear my own voice in my own head. You don't do that.
No.
I had no idea that this week there was
You didn't know it was going to go this deep.
No, I did not. I would not have expected you to not have an internal monologue.
That sounds so weird to me too. Like that. I feel like that person sitting there talking to himself.
But it's not like that though. Taylor, you have an internal monologue, right? I would agree.
Yeah.
I think it's more like
I have to be very what's work. I can't just react. I have to think every single little thing I do through. So I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean? I have to think each step through. So I think that I do.
I think the writing the paper thing is a great example.
Right. So if I was going to write a paper, I would have to sit there and
where you're going.
Do each topic and then sit there.
You were
and think
writing
about,
it in your head,
I'd have to do topics, and then I would have to sit there and think about what I'm going to write. I'm not
going to
just going to you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't have an end location.
See, if I do that, then it's just everything's scattered.
It's different. So I don't have somebody narrating your life in third person in your head.
No,
that's a third voice, honey. Okay.
So you have So this is way deeper than what I thought.
You ever say Stranger Than Fiction?
Stranger Than Fiction?
What's that movie where somebody's narrating his whole life in his head?
I don't know.
Oh.
So you have an internal narrator in your head who's and Taylor did this.
More like a James Earl Jones type voice. Yeah,
sexy, but
it's a mental disease that his father has as well.
I'm curious now. Are you being serious? Like, you really feel like there's a third person here?
It's not you.
No,
Taylor gets up.
Taylor
gets to.
Taylor and the gang are now discussing this topic.
Is that your for real, or are you fucking with it?
No. I was definitely fucking with y'all. I can see the look on his face.
That would have been interesting.
I would have.
It would have been interesting, but
the voices they're talking again. Is that what's happening?
And now they speak, and I got it. Well, that's really cool.
I'm interested in that.
Sounds like Robert.
You should definitely.
I'm going to. I'll tell you what. I will try to pay extra attention and see
Sean's a fucking
See,
robot.
The thing is, it's like a different wavelength of consciousness versus having your own internal monologue. It's not like you're dumb, because you have thoughts and stuff like that. You're smart, but at the same time, it's like you're looking at.
I think people who probably have more of an internal monologue or overthinkers who have anxiety, they're going to sit there and play like what they're going to say.
The consequences, what could happen. I'm not
He's
worried
not
about
like
that
at all. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He has less of a filter than Taylor, I think.
And like you were saying a minute ago, if you tried to write a paper and just do that, it would be scatterbrained everywhere. And I don't know. I'm just more organized with it. That or I don't care. Probably that I don't care. Very emotionless.
But I mean, there was the guy. It's just that's so weird that I did not.
I wasn't expecting that question or topic. So,
I did not expect that to be a thing. But very insightful. You should research.
I am. I'll add that to my
because
million
I would
useless
like
knowledge
to on the
facts.
next time we have a talk. Like I want to see what you've learned and kind of maybe you could explain.
Articulate
more
it a
people,
little bit
I
better.
think, have an internal monologue than not. I think, but I have an internal monologue, and that's my own bias. That was a revolution.
I didn't thought everybody had.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought everybody, but we're not on the same one. Have you ever seen?
So it's kind of like sociopaths. They don't think before they act; they just fucking do because that's what they want.
Kinda, but it's not on the same level as far as like no empathy.
I'm not a serial killer.
He doesn't have any.
No, I'm just saying that's like kind of how you explain.
I did read something on empathy before, though. It was
You lack
do what?
Empathy is taught, actually.
empathy.
Empathy is taught.
Well,
and a lot of
no,
people
it was-
who have empathy have had traumatic experiences to teach them empathy.
There was something about like a natural reaction to something, and people that don't react to it or don't have empathy.
Yeah.
And they said you could do it as like a social experiment. You could do it around other people that you don't know, and their response to it. I can't remember what it was, but it was something real simple and easy, and their response to that.
I've
was
read a
saying
lot
that.
into it, and it's people who are more empathetic have had traumatic experiences, so they understand what other people are going through. So if you've had, cookie cutter, this is the best life ever life, you're not going to have as much empathy as somebody who's been through up
Real
and
life
downs
struggles.
throughout life. Yes.
Well, they may not have had that experience to go that low to have the
Right.
if you had a traumatic
So
experience.
there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. They just don't understand. So
Yeah.
their empathy is at the same level as other people.
John, I'm giving you some homework. You gotta. I'm not giving you all homework. Look, there's a video out there that is like. Will blow
So
your mind.
are we gonna come back and like rate each other's empathy on a scale of 1 to 10? Then
Is there a way to rate empathy?
Why
I
not?
don't know if you can rate empathy. That's another weird psychoanalytical.
I mean, if you
I
say-
think you can. There's different levels. A good example, I don't know if y'all understand this or not, but like there are nurses that are. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm not dogging people.
Maybe like a bedside manner.
So
type
like
thing.
for me, I've been through a lot. I've had a lot of medical issues. I had traumatic experiences growing up. So for me, I have every level of empathy. But whereas like some nurses who don't have any medical issues, who have had the perfect life, got through school, paid for, you know what I mean? They don't have the same level of empathy. They have higher rates of burnout. And then they go into patient's room and they think they're just being a baby. Well, no, they're not. You know what I mean? Like everybody's
They're
level
not as
of pain is different.
compassionate.
Right. Everybody's level of pain is different. Everybody's, it doesn't matter if they just have a tummy ache. Their life might be fucking terrible, and that tummy ache to them is just breaking because of everything else that they're going through, right? So, and then some people just don't understand that. So I think there are levels of empathy. And I think that certain people can be more compassionate or empathetic or whatever you want to say.
Well, I mean,
So-
in general, women are more empathetic/sympathetic than men would be because it's men's drive in general to be sort of like, I can't be empathetic because I've got to do. Versus women, mothers.
And nurses can be that way too, honestly. Really
I
I'm
know
just
the
saying as
question.
an in general
Mhm.
trend.
So if you
Women.
said empathy is taught, could you have experienced so much trauma in this empathy-related thing that you are
No.
non-sympathetic to other people's
You're
problem?
dumb. You have walls
You're
or
dumb.
something like that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
because I feel like in some instances in life, I've experienced the same thing that other people have experienced
And handled it differently.
and handled it
Like
differently.
two
And I'm just
people-
like, why the fuck are you acting like this?
Like maybe two people that grew up, in the same household, and just at the end of the day, after they've all grown up and everything, they're two completely different people.
Yeah.
Even if they had the same raising and everything like that. But
Yeah, that's
two
been
total
discussed.
opposites.
Yeah.
So.
Like, why the fuck are you acting like this,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you have a sibling, different things affect different people in different ways.
Yeah.
So, like you put it to me the other day that the water that hardens,
And the water that boils, the boiling water that hardens the egg softens the potato.
So
It's not what life gives you, it's what you make of it. So,
Yeah.
Or a potato or an egg, basically.
definitely be the egg if you've got an option. Guys, I think that we're going to wrap it up on that. I would like to hear some more follow-up questions. We can get a little bit more psychoanalytical if you could maybe read or research this inner monologue, not inner monologue type thing. And it's weird to see like how other people saying, because we don't even know if we're looking at the same colors. We just assume everybody else is seeing the same colors we are.
Yeah.
Vsauce, check it out. All right, that's it. I'm Zach.
I'm Shawn.
I'm Taylor.
And special guest.
Taylor.
That was 3 Guys, 1 Bullet. Y'all have a good day.
3G1B Podcast is edited, written, and hosted by myself, Zach Moody. It was grounded and maintained on the intriguing conversational talents found in my 2 co-hosts, Shawn LaPaglia and Taylor Pond. Please leave your comments, hate mail, and questions at 3g1b.pc@gmail.com or on our social media, Facebook, YouTube, Podbean, Twitter, and with luck, Apple Podcasts. Thanks, guys, and have a great day. Stay strapped.